The power of emotional stillness. When an insult is thrown at you, your first victory is silence. Machiavellian control begins where emotional reaction ends. An insult is bait, designed to pull you into a weaker position. By remaining still, calm, and unreadable, you deny the attacker satisfaction. Silence forces them to question their power over you. In that moment, you become the one observing, not reacting. Emotional stillness is not weakness, it is calculated dominance. Detachment as a weapon. A controlled man does not absorb words, he analyzes intent. Insults lose power when you detach yourself from them mentally. Machiavellian thinkers understand that words only injure those who internalize them. When you detach, the insult floats past you without impact. This emotional distance unsettles the attacker, who expected pain or anger. Detachment turns their attack into wasted effort, and wasted effort always weakens the aggressor. Let them reveal themselves. Every insult exposes insecurity. A Machiavellian mind listens carefully, not emotionally. Insults reveal envy, fear, or frustration in the speaker. While they attempt to lower you, they unknowingly expose their own weakness. Your calm presence forces them to speak more, dig deeper, and reveal their true motives. The more they insult, the more information you gain. Knowledge is power, and power is never controlled. Eye contact. When insulted, do not rush to respond. Hold steady eye contact and remain silent. This creates psychological pressure. Humans are uncomfortable with unreadable expressions. Your silence forces the other person to fill the void, often with nervous explanations or more reckless words. This is a Machiavellian tactic of dominance, allowing discomfort to work in your favor. Calm eye contact communicates strength without aggression and authority without noise. Timing over reaction. Immediate reactions are emotional. Delayed responses are strategic. Machiavellian control values timing above all else. When insulted, pause. Let the moment settle. If you choose to respond later, your words will carry more weight. Delayed responses show confidence and self-control. They also keep the attacker uncertain, which destabilizes them mentally. Timing transforms a simple moment into a long-term psychological advantage. Minimal words, maximum impact. When response is necessary, speak briefly. Long explanations signal insecurity. A Machiavellian response is short, precise, and emotionless. Few words spoken calmly can crush the intent behind an insult more effectively than anger ever could. Minimal speech forces the other person to reflect on their failure to provoke you. Brevity communicates superiority. Those who control their words control the situation. Never defend your worth. Defending yourself validates the insult. Machiavellian thinking rejects unnecessary self-justification. Your value does not require explanation. When you defend, you lower yourself to their frame. Instead, act as though the insult is irrelevant. This non-response implies that their opinion lacks significance. The strongest position is indifference. People instinctively respect what appears unaffected and untouchable. Turn insults into observation. Every insult is data. A Machiavellian mind records tone, timing, and context. Who insulted you? When? In front of whom? These details matter. Insults often occur when someone feels threatened by your presence or progress. By observing instead of reacting, you gain strategic insight into power dynamics. Observation transforms emotional attacks into informational advantages. Calm is psychological authority. Rage gives power away. Calm takes power back. When you remain composed under insult, you signal emotional dominance. Others notice. Authority is not declared, it is displayed. A calm response, or no response at all, creates an unspoken hierarchy where you stand above the insult. Machiavellian control is silent authority. not loud defense. Let reputation speak. Do not fight insults directly. Let your consistency, discipline, and results answer for you. Machiavellian strength relies on long-term positioning. People eventually judge reality, not noise. Insults fade, but reputation compounds. By staying controlled and focused, you allow time to dismantle the attacker naturally. Patience is not passive, it is strategic inevitability. Psychological distance creates superiority. When someone insults you, they attempt to pull you into their emotional world. A Machiavellian mind refuses entry. By maintaining psychological distance, you elevate yourself above the interaction. This distance prevents emotional contamination and keeps your judgment sharp. The farther you stand mentally, the smaller their words become. Superiority is not asserted through confrontation, but through the refusal to engage on a lower psychological level. Silence forces self-exposure. An insult unanswered becomes a mirror. Silence makes people uncomfortable because it offers no resistance. The attacker begins to question whether they were heard, respected, or ignored. This uncertainty often pushes them to speak again, revealing desperation or insecurity. Machiavellian control understands that people expose themselves when they are not interrupted. Silence is not emptiness, it is a strategic vacuum that forces truth to surface. Emotional control is social power. People instinctively follow those who remain calm under pressure. When insults fail to shake you, observers unconsciously rank you higher in social hierarchy. Emotional stability signals strength, competence, and authority. Machiavellian thinkers know that control over oneself is more impressive than control over others. By mastering your reactions, you influence how everyone in the room perceives power without saying a single word. Never compete in verbal chaos. Insults are invitations to chaos. Accepting them pulls you into verbal competition where ego replaces logic. A Machiavellian mind avoids chaotic exchanges because chaos favors impulsive mistakes. You do not win by trading words, you win by staying composed while others unravel. Refusing to compete on their level denies them momentum and preserves your strategic advantage. Observe who enjoys disrespect. Not everyone insults out of anger, some do it for pleasure. Machiavellian awareness notes who smiles, who watches closely, and who encourages disrespect. These observers reveal hidden alliances and intentions. Insults are often social tests to see who will submit and who will retaliate. By remaining controlled, you identify allies, enemies, and opportunists without exposing yourself. Calm responses create psychological whiplash. If you choose to respond, do so calmly and unexpectedly. A measured tone after an insult creates psychological whiplash. The attacker expects aggression, not composure. This mismatch disrupts their confidence and control. Machiavellian responses work best when they break expectations. Calmness after provocation feels unnatural to emotional minds and leaves them mentally off balance. Indifference undermines authority attempts. Insults are often attempts to establish dominance. Indifference neutralizes that attempt instantly. When you treat an insult as irrelevant, you deny its purpose. Machiavellian control recognizes that authority cannot be forced, it must be accepted. By refusing to acknowledge the insult, you silently reject their claim to power. Indifference is quiet rebellion executed with elegance. Let time work against them. Immediate victories are emotional. Long-term victories are strategic. A Machiavellian thinker allows time to expose patterns. Those who insult repeatedly eventually lose credibility. Their behavior defines them, not you. By remaining consistent and composed, you allow time to erode their influence naturally. Patience is not weakness, it is the slow application of pressure. Maintain a neutral mask. Your facial expression is part of your strategy. A neutral mask reveals nothing and invites speculation. When insulted, avoid smiling, frowning, or reacting visibly. The lack of emotional cues unsettles people. They rely on feedback to measure impact. Machiavellian control understands that unreadability creates psychological tension. When they cannot read you, they cannot control you. Power is felt, not explained. Explaining why an insult doesn't affect you defeats the purpose. True power requires no explanation. Machiavellian dominance is sensed through behavior, not words. When you remain calm, focused, and unbothered, people feel your control instinctively. Power that must be spoken is already weak. Let your composure communicate everything. Insults lose power when you stay predictable. Emotional people are predictable because their reactions follow patterns. A Machiavellian mind stays steady and unreadable. When you respond the same way every time, with calm neutrality, insults stop working. Predictability in emotional control creates unpredictability for attackers. They no longer know how to provoke you. Consistency in composure builds a reputation that discourages future attempts at disrespect. Ego is the real target. Insults are rarely about truth, they are about ego warfare. The attacker seeks to damage your self-image or elevate their own. Machiavellian control separates ego from identity. When ego is no longer reactive, insults fall flat. You observe without defending pride. This inner separation protects your focus and keeps your strategic mind dominant over emotional impulses. Let others notice your restraint. Power is often judged by witnesses, not participants. When others see you remain composed under insult, they form conclusions silently. Restraint signals confidence, intelligence, and inner authority. Machiavellian thinkers allow observers to become their validators. You do not need to correct narratives. People naturally side with calm strength over emotional noise. Strategic ignoring is not weakness. Ignoring an insult is a calculated choice, not submission. Machiavellian control understands when engagement benefits the enemy. By ignoring selectively, you preserve energy and deny relevance. Not every insult deserves recognition. Silence in the right moment communicates that the speaker is beneath your attention. Strategic ignoring reshapes power without confrontation. Control your body language. Words are only part of communication. Posture, breathing, and movement reveal more than speech. When insulted, maintain relaxed posture and steady breathing. Sudden movements signal irritation. Machiavellian control extends to physical presence. A calm body reinforces a calm mind. This alignment amplifies authority and makes emotional attacks appear ineffective and misplaced. Use neutral statements when necessary. If forced to respond, use neutral statements devoid of emotion. Simple phrases spoken calmly prevent escalation while maintaining control. The purpose is not to win verbally, but to close the interaction. Machiavellian responses are functional, not expressive. Neutrality frustrates those seeking emotional payoff and quietly reasserts your dominance. Disrespect reveals power struggles. Insults often surface when hierarchy is uncertain. Someone tests boundaries to see if they can lower your position. Machiavellian awareness recognizes these tests immediately. By remaining composed, you signal that your position is not negotiable. You do not argue status, you embody it. This forces the challenger to retreat or expose themselves further. Never mirror hostility. Mirroring hostility escalates conflict and equalizes power. Machiavellian control avoids emotional symmetry. When you refuse to match aggression, you maintain asymmetry. This imbalance keeps you in control. Emotional mirroring traps both sides in reaction. Calm neutrality breaks the cycle and places you above the exchange psychologically. Use confidence, be quiet. Loud confidence seeks validation. Quiet confidence commands respect. When insults meet silence or calm response, people sense inner strength. Machiavellian thinkers cultivate quiet confidence because it does not rely on approval. Your composure speaks louder than any defense. Silence backed by confidence feels heavier than words. Emotional discipline is long-term power. Handling insults is not a single skill, it is a discipline. Each moment of control strengthens future resilience. Machiavellian power compounds over time through repeated emotional mastery. Those who cannot provoke you cannot control you. Emotional discipline becomes your shield, your weapon, and your reputation. Emotional provocation is a test. Insults are not accidents, they are tests. The attacker is measuring your emotional stability. A Machiavellian mind recognizes this instantly. Passing the test requires restraint, not retaliation. When you remain unaffected, you silently communicate that you operate on a higher level of control. Those who fail these tests expose themselves as impulsive. Those who pass become untouchable. Never reward disrespect with energy. Attention is currency. When you react emotionally to an insult, you reward the behavior. Machiavellian control withholds energy from disrespect. No anger, no explanation, no justification. The absence of reward discourages repetition. People instinctively abandon strategies that fail. By offering nothing, you starve the insult of purpose. Stillness creates psychological pressure. Movement relieves tension. Stillness creates it. When insulted, remain physically and emotionally still. This unnatural calm unsettles emotional minds. They expect reaction, not composure. Machiavellian thinkers use stillness to let discomfort grow on the other side. Pressure builds silently until the attacker becomes uneasy, uncertain, and exposed. Insults collapse without resistance. Conflict requires two participants. When one side refuses to engage, the structure collapses. Machiavellian control removes resistance strategically. By not pushing back, you allow the insult to fall flat. The attacker looks foolish continuing alone. Power lies in choosing when conflict exists and when respect is taken through self-control. True respect is not demanded, it is enforced through behavior. Emotional self-control signals inner strength. When insults fail to provoke you, others adjust their behavior automatically. Machiavellian dominance operates without commands. People sense boundaries and adapt. Your composure becomes a silent rule everyone follows. Let them feel ignored, not challenged. Being challenged energizes people. Being ignored weakens them. Machiavellian strategy avoids direct confrontation when possible. Ignoring an insult makes the attacker feel invisible. This triggers insecurity rather than aggression. They begin questioning their relevance. Nothing destabilizes an ego faster than irrelevance. Calmness disarms group dynamics. Insults often occur in groups to gain social leverage. A calm response, or none at all, breaks the group's momentum. Observers feel the imbalance immediately. Machiavellian control shifts the emotional weight onto the aggressor. Groups follow strength instinctively. Your composure isolates the attacker socially. Emotional distance preserves authority. Authority erodes when emotions leak. Machiavellian control maintains distance at all times. Even justified anger is concealed. Distance keeps your judgment intact and your presence commanding. People respect those they cannot emotionally manipulate. Emotional distance protects authority like armor. Power is refusal to descend. Every insult invites you downward into chaos. Machiavellian strength is the refusal to descend. You stay where clarity exists. By refusing lower-level engagement, you force others to either rise or reveal themselves. Most cannot rise. Their failure confirms your position without effort. Mastery is when insults become invisible. The highest level of control is when insults no longer register, not suppressed, irrelevant. Machiavellian mastery is achieved when external noise cannot penetrate internal order. At this stage, insults dissolve before reaching emotion. You move untouched through provocation. This is not coldness, it is dominance perfected. Emotional immunity is earned. When insults no longer reach your emotions, you gain true immunity. This state is built through repeated restraint. Machiavellian's strength develops when provocation fails consistently. Immunity is not natural, it is trained through discipline and awareness. Silence becomes your reputation. Over time, people associate your silence with authority. They remember that insults never move you. Machiavellian control turns restraint into identity. Your calm presence becomes known, and known power rarely needs to be tested again. Control denies others leverage. Insults are leverage attempts. When you remain unaffected, leverage disappears. Machiavellian minds understand that whoever controls emotion controls direction. Without leverage, attackers lose influence and retreat naturally. Calm is a psychological wall. Anger opens doors, calm builds walls. When insulted, your composure blocks emotional access. Machiavellian control protects inner space by limiting reactions. What cannot enter cannot disturb. Respect follows emotional discipline. People may not like restraint, but they respect it. Emotional discipline forces others to adjust behavior. Machiavellian respect is not requested, it is imposed quietly through consistency and control. Provocation exposes weak minds. Those who rely on insults reveal dependency on reaction. Machiavellian observation notes this weakness. You do not correct them, you let their behavior define their limits while you remain elevated. Detachment ends power struggles. Power struggles require emotional attachment. Detachment dissolves competition. Machiavellian control removes ego from the exchange, leaving nothing to fight over and no ground to lose. Your focus is untouchable. Insults aim to distract. When focus remains intact, attacks fail. Machiavellian dominance protects attention above all else. What you focus on grows, what you ignore fades. Stillness signals final authority. Movement reacts, stillness commands. When insults meet stillness, the exchange ends. Machiavellian authority is felt most when nothing is said and nothing is shown. Mastery is effortless control. At the highest level, control requires no effort. Insults dissolve instantly. Machiavellian mastery is when emotional order is permanent, not situational. Final line. When insults can no longer move you, no one can control you. This is cold Machiavellian power in its purest